I live in Phoenixville. Since I have not seen any members of the borough at the many community education events or protests, I wanted to share some statistics to make sure you're aware of the situation we are in. According to public ICE data, as of January, 43% of the people in detention have no criminal record. 29% had criminal convictions. And according to the Cato Center, based on this data, only 5% had violent criminal convictions. According to the Detention Center Watch, there are over 70,000 people being held so far. 3,800 of these are children. In these centers, there is inadequate medical care, inedible food, and rampant physical and sexual abuse. 31 people died in detention last year. 6 have died this year, one of which is being considered a homicide at the hands of a prison guard. These are the realities you're subjecting Phoenixville residents to when you stand by and allow anonymous agents to kidnap our neighbors while they follow our laws, contribute to society, and make our town the amazing place that it is. Our neighbors are afraid to go to work, to drive their kids to preschool, to seek medical care, to pay their fines for fear of being disappeared when they have done nothing wrong. All semblance of law and order has gone out the window. This is racial profiling in modern-day concentration camps, plain and simple. As of this week, ICE purchased a 520,000 square foot warehouse in Berks County. There's nowhere near enough violent criminals to fill that space. You need to decide if you want to uphold a dishonest, racist, and violent system of law enforcement or stand with actual human beings. Thank you.
Hi, Nicholas and Bessie. I live in the borough. I reached out to my East Ward council members today, and I was asking a question. The chief kind of answered it about what kind of policy there might be in regards to cooperating with ICE. And the reason why I wanted to ask that question was simply because of what I saw on the videos that were circulating today online. And to me, it looked like Phoenixville police officers hobnobbing it up with the ICE agents in the parking lot. And maybe that's just the different perspective that I saw, but that's what it looked like in the videos to me. And our police department is here for the public safety of our entire community. And I want to make sure that our community feels safe in every neighborhood that they're in here in the borough. So I really just hope in the future that our police department can make it be known more so that we're here for the residents, the people who live in our town. We're here for you. We are not here to cooperate with ICE. Ever. 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 Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rona Candeloro. I'm a Phoenixville resident. I'm concerned of what would happen if the community sees an ICE action and we try to film it, and if we are attacked, is the Phoenixville Police Department going to come to our aid?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a question, but that's what concerns me. If we see something going on and they're attacking civilians, can we dial 911 and expect help? And I know it sounds like a question, so that's all I wanted to say. That's my concern.
I'm sitting here like writing down notes to get my thoughts straight, and I feel myself just turning red. So forgive me, I'm nervous to be up here, but I'm up here because it's important. My name is, again, Shana Miller. I'm not technically in the borough, but we are in Phoenixville. We're right over where like Big Lots was and where Aldi is going to be, and apparently 2 car washes. Woo! Anyway, we love spending time in the borough. We love coming out for community events. We have 2 young kids, they're 4 and 7. Our son goes to PALC. We talk every day about being gentle and kind and respectful of bodies and wishes and treating people with love and that love coming back to you and trying to ingrain that in our kids. And what an amazing community we have here in Phoenixville, and I'm so proud of this community right now and in moments like this. In December, driving on 724, my husband and I saw 3 days in a row, at least, a digital billboard ad, join ICE, $50,000. And we thought, God, we could really use $50,000. We would never consider joining ICE. But it was around the holidays, and I'm sure there were people who not only considered it, but did it. I can't understand how you could show up somewhere with the intent of pulling someone apart from their family, racially profiling them, in many cases not having a judicial warrant, and just taking people away. And the people are being moved from one detention center in this country around to another, sometimes multiple times a week. Their families aren't told where they're moved to. There are millions and millions of dollars being wasted. My understanding is in Pennsylvania, a lot of that is sponsored and paid for by Geo Group. They get a lot of money from Citizens Bank, and there's just a lot of stuff going on that is kind of beyond us, and yet it affects us. And I feel it, and I'm overwhelmed, and I'm mad, and I'm sad, and I hate it, and I want to do something. And there's often this part of me that's like, I don't know what I can do. I'm afraid. I have young children. I'm just not going to do anything. And I'm doing something, but it's never enough, and it's really hard. And watching what happened today in our town, literally next door to this borough hall, right there. And you're saying we don't have an agreement with ICE, and yet they called and you're saying, oh, it's a technicality. We couldn't respond because they called for, glass in a hand. They called because they had an encounter with ICE next to this building. That matters. So if somebody called you and said, there's a problem, we're having an encounter with ICE, they're not showing their faces, which is required in Philly now, and should also be required here. Because if you're going to show up and do it, do it and show your face. Hi, Mayor Pete. I'm sure I'm reaching my time here, but we need some rules and saying that they can't have those masks on. And if we were to call you and say, we're having a problem and we need help, we don't want you going around in circles with the technicality of, oh, they called EMS for an injury, they didn't call us, they called us only for parking, so we only responded to that. We all saw the video. That was not okay. That is not okay in our town. There are families that are being pulled apart and will continue. So, our president right now, our federal government, which is so corrupt, and we all see it, we all know it, right? No one's surprised he's in the Epstein's files. No one's surprised about any of this, but we need to say something and do something. These people in ICE are encouraged, they're emboldened, they're supported, regardless of the decisions they make, and whether they're right or wrong, and they're usually wrong, they're on the clock, they're dressed up as agents, but they're not agents. They bought their costumes on Amazon, okay? Seriously, they were on Amazon for months, and people were reporting it and saying, this is not okay. Who are these people? Who are they? Just because the government says that they have a right to be here doesn't mean they have a right to be here. They're pulling apart our children's friends, families. They're pulling apart our neighbors. And therefore, they're going to try to pull apart our community. And we can't come here and talk to you and have you say, sorry, they didn't call for us. It was right there. And we need to know that you're here for the people of our town, just like we are. I'm here for myself, selfishly, because I have babies in COVID, and during COVID, the earliest part of it, and nothing has been normal. This is not the world that I would have wanted to bring children into, and people talk about, oh, we're not having enough babies now, but you know what? I wouldn't want to bring a baby into the world right now either. I don't blame them. We need to create a better future so that people feel safe and comfortable to bring more people into this world, and that affects us. Every one of us. I want a better world for my kids. I want to live in unprecedented times. I just want a better world, and that's why I'm here. Thank you.
eject button or anything when someone hits their 3 minutes, but I really do want everybody to feel as though they get time. So obviously, if you get to 5 minutes, I'm gonna be very respectful, but remind you, but I do want everybody to have their time. And we may stop public comment so we can get to our agenda at some point and revisit public comment, but we'll try to keep things going as long as we can.
Okay, thank you all.
Good evening. Thank you guys for being here and making the time to be here. My name is Maureen Ruth-Miller. I am a Phoenixville resident. I don't live in the borough, but I participate in many borough activities. My kids do extracurriculars here, and I have worked in immigration law for 7 years. I'm currently not in immigration law, but I volunteer still on one of the hotlines. I do translation. I sometimes help out in the school district. I have 2 kids in the elementary schools, and you know, there's many directions we can take this conversation. And I think, for me, the actionable items are few when we're dealing with the federal government, federal immigration law that hasn't been changed since 2001, that really gives people the opportunity to have a permanent way to stay legally in the United States. There's so many directions we could take this, a lot of feelings, and I'm grateful that we do have police officers that have come to some of the protests and other things and are very supportive of people being respectful. I guess my biggest thing is, along with some of the other parents, like, I don't know what example this sets for our children and for our community, for the immigrants in our community, that gives so much back. I know there's so much fear there's so much fear from them, from their kids at school, and I don't know how we as a town can come together in a meaningful way to say, okay, we're not changing the federal government in a borough council meeting, like, that would be great, but what can we do to show solidarity that doesn't call more attention also to the vulnerable communities, because I think that's a big concern too. If it, like, things get blown out of proportion, people are like, what's going on in Phoenixville? Maybe we need to go there. Like that's, I don't think that's particularly helpful either. But what can we do? I know that some towns have put forth things like, we are welcoming people and immigrants, and just putting out some positive things about the diversity in the community, which I think Phoenixville does a wonderful job of. But I also think, like, the video from today, like, if my kid had been in the parking lot and seen that, or the kids that were in another car, or anybody really, like, that to me, that level of aggression is maybe not surprising for people who grow up in areas where that's maybe more common, but I think when we don't, kind of speak to what happened today, it kind of says, well, that's just what's happening. Like, our hands are tied. And I understand that legally and in many ways your hands are tied, but I think there is a way for us to come together and show support. And I know that it's such a divisive, it's so many people on all sides, but this is about who we are as humans for one another. And whether you agree with, current law or it's really the interpretation of the law rather than the law itself. It's still treating people with respect. And even if you're protesting and engaging, like, how can we do that in a way that we're saying, these are your rights, not calling people names, like, just not going to that base level where nothing productive happens. When people, I always tell my kids, when you're so mad and angry and you use those kind of words, people only hear you're angry and mad. They can't hear what you're actually trying to say. So I'm hoping that there'll be more dialogue so people have a productive way to communicate their concerns for our community. And thank you guys so much for having us. I mean, I think you have to, but we appreciate it.
I'll be brief because I wasn't planning on speaking, but my name is Marilyn Harvey and I live in the borough. And the reason I came is similar to many people here, is that I saw the video and it was sickening. And we talk about humanity, and that's not what we want for our community. And I appreciate you listening. What resonated with me is my dad was a Holocaust survivor, and people stood by. They knew it was right, and we all know it's right, but we just say, it's not my job, it's not my jurisdiction, it's someone else. But we're humans, we want to support each other. I moved to Phoenixville because of the diversity and support of diversity, and I think we have to come together and do what's right.
Hi, my name is James Brower. I do apologize. My heart rate's triple digits right now. I've never done anything like this before. But if the name Brower sounds familiar, it should. There are 4 roads named after my family in this area, a lock house, a cemetery, and there is a business that has been here across the bridge in Montclair for the last 84 years. So to say that I'm a lifelong resident of Phoenixville would be a very large understatement. I've also spent 4 years of my life working in public service, and I know what it's like to be under the public eye. I know what it's like when somebody films you while you do your job. I know from firsthand experience multiple times that a video doesn't tell the whole story, but for 99% of people, the perception of the video is reality. I understand that you guys can't answer the questions. I get it. I know how the rules are. But I have 3 children and I have 2 nephews, and 3 of them are old enough to know what's happening right now, and 2 of them are not. One day, and I'm getting old quick, I'm gonna be a grandfather, hopefully, and they're gonna have children, and they're gonna come to me one day, and they're gonna say, Grandpa Jim, we're learning about the year 2026 in school. Where were you when this happened, and what did you do? And I want to be the grandfather that's proud to say, I was on the right side of history. So, I know that you guys can't literally answer any questions. I get it, there are rules, and I'm a rule guy. But I guess the question for me to leave for you guys is, when you go home at night, how do you sleep? What side are you on? I haven't slept for a month. I look terrible. You know, I know you guys aren't allowed to answer that question, and I really don't know what my point is, but I think I may have gotten a point across. And that's what I want to say, so thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Alec Kearns. I reside in the borough in the North Ward. Had no intention whatsoever of speaking tonight, but felt inspired by all these folks behind me and obviously all these folks in front of us. And I think everybody in this room is here because, you know, whether you're here in a capacity such as those in front of me or those behind me, because we care about the people of Phoenixville. And every single person here, you know, is here out of a sense of public and civic duty, and that we want to see the residents of Phoenixville thrive. At the end of the day, we definitely understand, you know, the folks in the police department, right? We understand that there is things that can't be done, right? Obviously, you have the district attorney in Philadelphia saying, you know, if they come into our city, we'll prosecute you for, you know, actions that are outside of the confines of the law. There's no federal protection. We understand, right? The borough council is not going to solve these federal issues overnight. And at the end of the day, the folks in the police department have to balance, right? And all those things. But I think what we as a community are really looking for is leadership, guidance, a voice that can kind of assure us, because the community is scared, right? I mean, I look across all these folks and everybody here is passionate, but people are fearful, right? We saw those videos, and we're gonna continue to see videos. I don't think that this is the end for Phoenixville. I don't think this is the end for Pennsylvania. And I think, you know, myself and those that I've spoken with, like, what we want from you folks is obviously not to go out and arrest ICE and all these things. I mean, as much as a lot of us would love that, we just want leadership, guidance, and a voice that sort of says that. I was recently having a conversation with a member of our school board, specifically about what's going on in the Great Valley School District and the fact that there is a Title IX, that there's an investigation on behalf of the Department of Education into Title IX violations for athletes competing in sports that, you know, weren't in line with their sex at birth. And we were talking about how, you know, we understand, like, those in a public service, you know, the folks of you that are elected officials, you have to balance between putting us in the crosshairs, because that is something that happens, right? There are folks in elected officials across the country who have made comments, said things, and then all of a sudden, whether that is at the highest level or at some level of federal government, that has put you into the crosshairs. And we're not asking for you to put Phoenixville into the crosshairs. We're just asking for reassurances and just a voice and clarity in these scary and dark times.
My name's Olivia McIntyre. I live in the borough. I grew up here, I went to high school here, and I chose to raise my kids here too. And it's hard to know where to start, but I'm hearing a lot of talk of following the rules, and there's only so much we can do, and our hands are tied, and we can't do this, and we can't do that. And you know what? Donald Trump and his administration doesn't constrict to themselves to what they can do and what they're allowed to do. ICE is not out here following the rules, they're breaking the rules. Or maybe they're playing by a different set of rules that somebody made up for them, which we all know is horse water. So, you know, I'm not going to stand here and try to tell you that I know what you should do, but you are our leaders. You have been elected, and we need some out-of-the-box thinking. Yeah. We need some creative thinking. We need not just thinking about how we're hemmed in by the rules, but how can we work around the rules? Maybe how can we bend the rules? I know one thing that we need in this community. We need some real assurance that our police is not cooperating with ICE, that they are not an ICE kidnapping, and I saw an East Pikeland police vehicle there with the ICE officers, or the ICE whatever they are, ICE thugs, ICE terrorists. I want to know that our police force, I want to be able to trust the police force in this community. I want to know that they are not working in concert with ICE. They need to be on our side. We are the community. You protect and serve us, okay? We need to know that that's the case. So we need out-of-the-box thinking, and you know, the gentleman, 2 people before me said, someday this is all going to be over, and when his grandkids come to him and ask him, what did you do and where were you? I think about that too. Someday I'm going to have grandkids. Someday this is all going to be over, and we're all going to have to look at ourselves in the mirror and ask ourselves, what did you do? What did you do to help? What did you do? It wasn't just following the rules, because the people who followed the rules in Nazi Germany were the ones who stayed by and stayed quiet and didn't do anything and didn't stand up and let their neighbors be carried away. And that, I think none of these people behind me, and I know I do not want that to be me. And I hope to God that none of you want that to be you.
lived in a lot of countries all over the world and thought, I love my neighborhood on Church Street because I get to talk to people in Spanish, I get to try my terrible Portuguese, I get to experience immigrants. I grew up in Bridgeport, so that was an immigrant community, and my grandparents were all from Italy and from Poland. I just want to say that I do really appreciate this town. I'm very surprised when I came back to Pennsylvania that I found a town like this, and it's just gotten better over the 10 years. I want to talk about accountability, what happened today. I would like to hear, I know you can't say it now, but I would like a description, a statement by the police of what happened today, how they interacted. Was there a warrant? Why were these people taken? What were their names? I want to see the blotter on them. I want that to be our way. We may not be able to stop them, but we can narrate what they're doing. And we can do it within the confines of the law. I think that people will tend to make up their own narratives if we don't have anything coming to us. I've already seen comments like, oh, the guy at the foodery, he's a Trump lover, so he must have called him. I was like, no. That's not what we want. We need, like other people have talked about, leadership. You know, we need statements, we need clarity. That funny blotter that was out years ago, I don't know what happened to it, it was hilarious. Obviously, this won't be funny, but I think we need a regular reporting mechanism so that the people of Phoenixville can see what our police and government interactions are with ICE. I think it's the least we can do, and it's practical. So, thank you.
I'm Jacob Munt, and I would like to read the Phoenixville Police Department mission statement, the first part of it really quick. The mission of the Phoenixville Police Department is to protect the rights, safety, and property of all persons within the Phoenixville Borough, and to provide professional service to all who come within our care and jurisdiction. The members of the Phoenixville Police Department will be guided by the values of our community and will faithfully perform their duties in accordance with the United States Constitution, Pennsylvania Constitution, and all federal, state, and local laws. So when I think of protecting the rights, safety, and property of all persons within the Phoenixville Borough, I don't think of a broken car window and blood on the snow next to it. And when I think of performing guided by our values and of our community, I tend to think about the people on site. I was one of the people on site, crying together and talking together, sharing their experiences and consoling each other. And I think of helping fix the window and clearing the glass out of the car, and making sure that this doesn't happen again. And I feel like that's the values of our community, and I don't see that happening here. And I feel like this is posted online as the mission statement. I think it should be considered.
Right here. Okay. All right, thank you. Sorry, my children. Hi, my name is Stephanie Nicolosi. I live in this borough, I own property in this borough, so do my family members. I was one of the people there today when ICE came into our community. Not for the first time, but for one of the first times when I was able to be there to witness it. There was a broken window, a vehicle, person within our community being detained and taken away after having tried to follow their civic duty to show up to a court case here in this building. Now, what haunts me the most is that sitting on the dashboard of that vehicle is a paper crown, a child's paper crown, says 100 Days Smarter. Crowns which I'm very familiar with. They litter my home. Whoever was taken was not just a member of our community, they were a parent, This is our town. This is our country. And these people have a right to be here, and they have a right to follow their due process. And what was most deplorable is that they played very nice while police were on the scene. They then left, got rid of the people who were following them, came back and abducted another member of that family, much more violently. Much more violently. Destruction of property, there was property strewn across the ground. This is not acceptable. We want to know what's being done to protect our community members, because we're not vigilante, nor will we be. We will watch and we will document, but it is up to you all to make us feel safe, make all of us feel safe, all of our community members within this community. And I ask, what is going to be done? I know we are not a big city, we are not a big place, we don't have the money to be like Chicago or Philadelphia, but I feel like there's got to be more that's got to be done. And that's all I can say.
I do like to use the microphone well, those who knows me. I'm going to start on this side.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. I know you hear my messages, and I know you know my pain. I know you know it. My son used to say on that chair, to make this place a better place. My son's name is written in buildings here, to make this a better place. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I work with the Latin community. To hear all this pain is already starting affecting me. I want to retire, but I can't, because this country makes it impossible. Because administration like this one makes it impossible. And those who has MAGA minds, which I don't know who you are anymore, is going to knock on your door. And I pray to that God that he knocks on your door. And so you feel the pain that we are feeling. Every single thing said from all these people that have stood up here, I have lived it. I sit in my house and I listen to it. I don't just follow this politics here. I follow my own country. I am Puerto Rican. I keep telling my girlfriend in Puerto Rico, I'm gonna be the first Puerto Rican deported. I feel sometimes I'm gonna be the first one, because I don't know how I'm gonna react. If I seen the things that some of these people have seen, I haven't seen them at all. But I don't know how I'm gonna react. I know that I'm angry. I know that I told you, Sergeant, a couple of things the other day on one of the protests. And when I went to see him on the last one that we were there, and I went to apologize to him, he didn't want it. He tells me, I called you, that I called him eyes. I did not call Sergeant Sutton eyes. I know more than that. I know I talk a lot. I know when I'm very emotional, my mouth can go, but it goes with facts. So I'm sorry if I offend you with facts. I'm sorry. But these are the things that you need to understand, that you are dealing with people that are very stressed. And that goes for you, the ones out there. We rely on you. Your paycheck comes from all these people. You're supposed to serve the people. Not just the government, just like that. So you tell me that he's your superior.
So if he's gonna come and kill me, you're gonna let him kill me because he's just your superior? He's with the federal? No, because when you took that uniform, you swear to protect the people, not the criminal. And we have a criminal in the house. I don't even like to go outside anymore. I don't care to go shopping. It's horrible. When I go to the supermarket and I don't see my Latin people looking around and buying and shopping. Many of you knows where I work. Today, when I saw that video, I don't know how I made it to 4 o'clock. But every patient that I spoke, I told them, don't worry, I will deliver. I will deliver so you don't have to come. This is what the protection that we need to help people. But you have to do the change. We elect you, like they said here, to do a change. So if you cannot do that change, what do you want my vote for? Well, you lost it. You all lost it. I will never vote in this country again. That's how corrupted. And let me tell you, my country is just like this one. Because the government of Puerto Rico is as MAGA as the one up there. But he doesn't care for her. She's just, I'm gonna hold that one. But yeah, it's so bad. So bad that what they did with Vieques, they want to do with Puerto Rico now. A base. But this is gonna knock on you. It's gonna knock on your faces. So what you do for us now, it will come back to haunt you. I promise you that. Because there's justice, this divine justice. I call it Allah, Jehová, Dios, Santito, Pedrito, whatever you want to call that divine, call it. But there's divine justice. I'm 65 years old. I'm ready to die. I'm kidding. I feel like I have nothing to live. That's how I feel. I'm disgusted of this country. Disgusted. I don't want to be here.
Hi, my name is Sarah Howell. I'm a borough resident. I called the borough non-emergency police line today. I just wanted on record how I was feeling, and I wanted to talk to somebody about it. And the conversation that I had, he said to me that he's like, well, you know, when we show up, you guys are disgusted that we're there, and when we don't show up, you're disgusted that we're not being a part of it. What am I supposed to do? We're literally in a rock and a hard place. And he asked me multiple times, what are we supposed to do? What would you suggest we do? I mean, that's not my job to know what to tell you guys to do. But I think it's very clear right now that what people need is the two options are show up and like don't get in the way of what ICE is doing, or don't show up. Show up for us. Show up to stand in their way. Put yourself, your armed, badged selves between us and them. Yes, it might not be here. Do it anyways.
Hi, my name is Adeline Smith. I live in the borough. I just wanted to make a statement that I'm in 8th grade. I go to the Phoenixville area middle school. I'm involved in orchestra, and I do theater, and I volunteer. I live just a few blocks from the school, and yet one thing I've noticed is that I worry about mine, my friends, and our families, our towns, and our country's future more than my high school schedule that I'm supposed to get in a few months.
I worry about my friends that could get kidnapped. I worry for their friends and their family. And I definitely worry about the people in my school and in my grade who might not be as educated or in general just ignorant, who believe that this is okay. It's not. It's illegal and it is terrible things to do to these people. These are citizens and believers. These citizens and believers have to just sit here and watch because they are afraid something will happen to them. I know and I try my best to have my voice heard, and that's why I'm here today, and that's why I go to protest, and that's why I speak very loudly about my beliefs and opinions around people who choose hate and choose violence. Phoenixville is a beautiful place, from the people and the events to the buildings and the nature, and I don't want our peace to be ruined, and I don't want us to lose hope. Thank you.
My name is Dana Waldman. I live in the borough, I live on Hall Street, and I wasn't planning on speaking tonight, but I feel very inspired, very emotional. And I am a solutions-based thinker, so I'm just gonna spew like some ideas of like maybe some things that you guys can do. I think it would mean a lot to see your faces at the protests, and to see. And like others have said, just to see you there between, just to show you guys have the privilege of kind of knowing that, they're not gonna maybe come for you, but you can put yourselves between them, and perhaps, are there ways that you guys can, put some funding? There are some amazing nonprofits who are doing these things, organizing some, trainings and things that the communities can know how to handle these, what happens when ICE shows up, but it's like you have to know where to find this information, and what if it was made available by you guys? What if it was funded by you guys? What if it was hosted here? What if you guys were able to help create a database with their license plate so that people know where to find this information? I just think that there's things, and I agree, outside the box thinking. These are just some ideas that I want to throw out there, and I know you guys can come up with additional ones as well, but yeah, that's it. Thank you guys.
Kind of nice to follow Dana. She helped me dig my car out this past week. My name is Ginger Murphy. I live on Church Street here in the borough, over 20-year resident of Phoenixville. Been a long-time volunteer of Town Watch. In Town Watch, we often talk about how what keeps us safe is looking out for each other. And I agree with my friend Rosa. I look around at this room and I think that's a big part of what's keeping us safe right now. So many good things have been said this evening. What I'd like to add is that if some of us are not safe, none of us are safe. By that, I also mean the persons who are serving us. Our emergency responders, our law enforcement, our local law enforcement officials also are not safe. The more tense these circumstances become, I'm a regular customer at the Foodery. When my friend and neighbor sent me this video, I was picturing myself walking across the parking lot. What would that have been like? I mean, we're going about our daily lives. You're called to respond. These are increasingly unsafe conditions, not just for some of us, but for all of us. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Drina Brubaker. I wasn't planning on speaking tonight. Probably most of us aren't, because we don't come with that kind of bravery in front of all these people, just like stored up. But what's happening is just unspeakable, and the fear that I carry from my children. I'm with teenagers back here who are passionate about humanity and about caring about their neighbors and caring about the way people are being treated, and I'm terrified to let them go out to dinner on a Thursday night. Like, I don't know how to carry this fear in a place that I always felt was safe. And it feels like it's inundating us in every direction. And I guess I'm just sitting back there thinking, the one thing I want to know is, what happened today happened today. What happens if it's 2 times that many people tomorrow?